Hey there, folks. You're listening to WCB, the underground sound of Emerson College. How y'all doing today? Welcome to Technically Not Experts. I'm Elliot Kelton.
And I'm Daryn Snyderland. And here at Technically Not Experts, we talk about our hyperfixations that we are so passionate about and explain it to the other person who has no knowledge of it. While we are technically not experts, we are for all intents and purposes.
But not legally.
Were you just doing that to prove that you can sing?
I can sing. I know how to sing. There are sounds.
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to be presenting today.
What will you be presenting on, Daryn?
After.
After?
Yes.
As in what? After what?
Who knows? After is, well, I guess that's the question. What is it? It's really a fan fiction that began on Wattpad that then transitioned into a book series that became a movie series.
Okay.
So, what is After? What do you know about After?
So, here's what I know about After. The main character was made to be Harry Styles, but worse. He's British. His name is bad. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay.
And he beats his girlfriend.
He doesn't beat his girlfriend physically, but he does mentally and emotionally.
We would like to say...
disclaimer, we are going to be talking about a few things that may be triggering to some people. Trigger warning, there will be mentions of intense intimate partner abuse, sexual assault, dubious consent, and terrible writing. So,
Oy vey.
Yeah, there's a lot of things here that is very triggering in this series.
Also, he wears a lot of black, right?
Almost exclusively black. If not black, then maybe like a white t-shirt.
Or maybe is there a navy? Like a very, very dark navy?
He usually goes with white or black. He's a very black and white kind of guy.
Love him already.
So what is After? After began as an alternate universe punk Harry Styles fanfiction on Wattpad, written by Anna Todd, or Imaginator 1D, as she goes by on there.
No.
I know, very fun username. It's a very 12-year-old girl, but she's an adult.
No way.
She wrote this as an adult.
How old is an adult?
She was in her early 20s when she began writing this.
She was about our age?
Yes.
I hate that for us. Daryn, never, never.
In After's world, Harry Styles was a punk, jerkwad British guy in his early 20s who went to college in Washington and is in a toxic relationship with the main character and narrator, Tessa Young. He wasn't in a boy band. He doesn't even really act like Harry Styles. The only thing tying Harry Styles to this story is essentially his name, his face, and the fact that he's Harry Styles, and that's really it.
So wait, his name is Harry Styles in the book?
In the fan fiction is Harry Styles. For legal reasons, they had to change it when they published it traditionally. So in the book, his name is Hardin Scott.
Bad name. Wait, Hardin?
Hardin, yes.
They named the main character Hardon?
Hardin! Hardin! Hardin. Hardin Scott.
Just switch it to an O.
The same can also be said for his band members, who appear as supporting roles in this story, but are nothing like their real life selves. All of their names are also changed. Zane is now Zed.
Bad.
Liam is now Landon.
Oh, I hate that name.
Niall is now Nate. And Louis, who I didn't even think was in the book series, is now Logan. I reminded myself of that when I was writing this.
Logan, as in Big Time Rush?
Exactly.
Thank you.
So After became popular because bad boy romance is incredibly popular on Wattpad. And so was One Direction fanfiction at the time. So especially Harry Styles fanfiction, he was like a staple of Wattpad. So if you mix them all together, you get a 3-part fanfiction with billions and billions of reads combined. When I say billions, I mean billions. There was probably I believe the first After book was read about 600 million times.
But that's not billion.
But combined, because each of the books were read about 600 billion times.
Oh.
So that combined is about 1 billion reads.
There's only 7 billion people in the earth.
Well, reads on Wattpad are calculated based on like views. So if someone goes back to reread something, that will also count as a read. So one person could read this, and also each chapter is an individual read. So the more chapters there are, and there are a lot of chapters, that means that you'll get more reads if even one reader reads the entire thing. If you have 100 chapters, right?
Then you have 100 reads if one person ever read it.
Yes. So there really isn't 600 million people reading it. It's more like it was viewed at least 600 million times, but not by necessarily 600 million people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't like that because that just means that there are after people among us.
It was incredibly popular. I knew many people in middle school who really liked After. And like I said, After was published as a book series because it was incredibly popular. Part of Wattpad's mission statement is to publish works that gain a lot of popularity. And so they did. After was published into a 4-part book series from the 3-part fan fiction and received a lot of popularity as well, not just from the original fans, but from new fans who discovered it as a traditional book series. It was then adapted into a movie in 2019, and the sequel has actually just recently come out after we collided, and they confirmed that they are going to be doing all 4 movies.
So there's 4 books.
Yes, there's 4 books, 3 fan fictions, and there's going to be 4 movies.
Have you ever written fan fiction before?
I have.
I have too.
I think if you say you haven't, you're a liar. If you haven't, then you haven't lived.
I feel like we just have to get that out there for the audience. We're not perfect either, but we are better than whoever wrote this.
I wouldn't say that. So what is After about? I mentioned that After got a lot of controversy.
It's about abuse.
Yes, but like not really.
And him being sexy.
Yes. So the book follows the protagonist, Tessa Young, an 18-year-old freshman at Washington State University.
I almost went there.
Really?
Yep.
Whose entire personality is basically defined by her virginity. She's the nice girl, the good girl, the smart girl, the innocent girl. And for nearly 100 pages, or sorry, not 100 pages, 100 chapters, you read her internalized judgment of others, especially women, her hypocrisy and infidelity, and most of all, her tumultuous and straight-up abusive relationship with Hardin Scott.
100 chapters?
Yes, there's 100 chapters in After.
No wonder it's getting so many reads.
Yeah. Actually, I think there's actually 99 chapters.
Oh, I'm sorry. 99. We apologize for our incorrectness.
Hardin Scott's personality is basically defined by his horrifying past and the fact that he slept with basically every girl on the planet. Her actions suck, but pale in comparison to Hardin's, which borders on heinous. It's awful. So that's the book's basic premise. So
why are we supposed to like either of them?
I don't think you are supposed to. I think you're just supposed to like bask in the screwed upness of it all. I think you can tell people were like upset by these. They were upset that this was going to be like very impressionable on kids because a lot of children were reading After because it was a Harry Styles fan fiction. Even though it wasn't necessarily targeted towards kids, it was on Wattpad. Kids were going to read it. And so there's a lot of controversy surrounding that. And also disclaimer, this is no way a hate train to Anna Todd, whom I actually respect a lot for writing a fan fiction in her spare time only to get the opportunity of a lifetime to become a published author. Not everyone gets to do that.
Was it self-published?
No, she was traditionally published.
What was the publishing house?
I think it was Simon & Schuster.
No frickin' way.
Simon & Schuster or Penguin House, whichever. I think it might have been Simon & Schuster.
If it was Penguin House, both have lost my respect immediately. But
I don't remember, but it might also have been Wattpad because Wattpad also has a publishing house.
I know Wattpad has a publishing house in and of itself, but it would make sense in my mind for it to be Penguin Random House, but like,
let me look it up. Okay, so yes, it was Simon & Schuster.
That makes more sense. No, it was not.
It was by a couple of people, but Simon & Schuster is one of their publishers.
Okay, so it was an imprint of Simon & Schuster.
I believe. Maybe.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, there's something really cool about being published as like a fan fiction author. And I also want to disclose this is not a formal book review. This is me comparing the movie After to the book After.
Do we like which one better?
I will actually tell you that at the end.
Okay.
I also want to talk about how I color coded and took notes for when I read this book like over the summer. So I color coded every single problematic thing I came across. Don't do that. He's doing an L on his forehead at me. Don't do that.
Loser.
Oh, don't act like you wouldn't do the same thing if you were doing this. Anyway, so here are what I color coded. Red is Tessa's not like other girls moments. Orange, Tessa's mom sucks. Yellow, Tessa's a judgmental B word. Green, Tessa's a hypocrite or a liar. Light blue, Tessa's a virgin, and that defines her personality, or something that, like Hardin, is for some reason really attracted to. Dark blue, Tessa's a misogynist. Pink, Tessa's a cheater.
She cheats, but she's innocent.
No, she's not. She pretends to be. Purple, Hardin nitpicking Tessa's clothes or habits. Brown is Hardin being aggressive or jealous. Gray, Hardin being verbally abusive, such as manipulating her, insulting her, or lying to her. And black, which is the most popular category, is sort of a catch-all, where it includes lack of consent, Hardin switching tones on a dime, weird wording in certain parts, like just like uncomfortable wording of things, and other problematic plot points.
I don't like the fact that I'm wearing black right now anymore.
It had to be black.
It had to be black.
So let's get into the comparison. So despite there be opening narration in the movie, Tessa's inner monologue is completely absent from the film, which is a definite improvement from the books.
Wait, you just said that there's
opening narration
Okay.
to the movie, meaning that she narrates like a little bit at the beginning, but then never again.
Okay.
Tessa's inner monologue is the book's in first person, so they don't include her inner monologue in the movie, which is an improvement because she's incredibly annoying to read. Her perspective, because she's very misogynistic and judgy. She often judges the fashion choices of the women in her life, saying that their clothes are more like, quote, scrap material, and shows off their body too much and makes them look like a, quote, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, S-K-A-N-K.
Ooh.
She says that word a lot. She's very holier than thou. She looks down on people who have different lifestyles than her, such as partying, sleeping around, not caring for school, etc. She's very...
Wait. Go again.
He has his hand up.
My hand is up every single time I've done something. Go.
Partying, sleeping around,
go off,
not caring about school,
never caring about school,
etc.
I do etc. all the time, guys.
She also is very judgmental of her boyfriend Noah, and yes, she has a boyfriend at the beginning of the book and the movie. She gets very judging of her boyfriend, especially when he's like shows concern for her. She's referred to people having OCD, even though she probably has OCD given her behavior and traits. She refers to people having OCD as being crazy.
Hashtag crazy gang.
She also gets super jealous and judgmental of any woman breathing in Hardin's direction, especially a character named Molly, whom she frequently refers to. I don't know if I could say these words. She frequently refers to as a SLUT or SKANK.
Okay, so wait,
Or
how
hot.
often is OCD coming about in which...
Honestly, it's mentioned quite often that she might have OCD, and she's very much just like, no, I'm not crazy.
You know, as
Because
someone...
she's very pro mental health, apparently.
As someone who has OCD, I would like to say, hashtag crazy gang, hashtag we're the best, hashtag hotties be crazy.
So, like I mentioned, Tessa has a boyfriend named Noah.
Right.
In the
Wait,
movie,
she has a boyfriend.
Yes.
But she's innocent and holier than that. Does she kiss? Does she hold hands?
They actually, apparently, her and Noah have never had sex. They kiss sometimes, but they don't like to make out very often. And they don't hold hands in public.
Why don't they hold hands in public?
Because she's like Mormon or something. I don't know. She's not Mormon, but she's like, in the book, she's literally described as wearing like maxi skirts everywhere all the time.
And wait, there's a man who's attracted to maxi skirts? There are two men attracted to maxi skirts?
She's, for some reason, just like the hottest person on the planet, even though she's so not.
She's wearing maxi skirts.
She's got like Bella Swan syndrome, where she's apparently so average, and yet every guy throws themselves at her.
Bella Swan was played by Kristen Stewart. We all understand.
Well, Kristen Stewart is hot as hell, but
yes.
like, you know, Bella Swan in the books is relatively average. Anyway,
right.
So in the movie, Noah is not introduced as her boyfriend until like later in the movie.
He's just a
and
friend.
So when he appears, they kind of look similar, so it is not obvious that they're dating. It's honestly it feels like they're introducing him as his brother as her brother because she's like helping her move into her dorm with her mom, and they're all like white with blue eyes, so they look kind of similar. And so we're like, is that your brother? And then they kiss, and then we're like, oh, guess that's not your brother.
Or maybe it is, and you're just weird.
So we immediately open the dorm doors. They're moving in to see the sinful behavior of tarot card reading and lesbians existing together. So
wait, there are lesbians in this?
In the movie, not in the book, in the movie. So in the movie, Steph, her roommate, is dating a character named Tristan. In the book, Tristan's a guy. In the movie, they make Tristan a girl. It's not a problem, but there is a different problem when this happens. So Tessa's mom overreacts in the book to Steph, Nate, and Hardin essentially because they're punks and they're being around Tessa, so they're gonna be like bad influences. In the movie, she mentions the room smelling like weed, even though Steph is not smoking, she's vaping. But because Tristan's a girl now, and they basically meet Tristan and Steph just being together and being romantic, it adds a homophobic subtext to Tessa's mom that I'm not entirely sure the filmmakers were accounting for. And I think that's very interesting.
Are we supposed to like Tessa's mom?
No.
Then why? Then if anything, it makes sense as to why they.
In the movie, Tessa's mom is way not as villainized as she is in the books. I'll get into how bad her mom is in the books, but in the movie, her mom's just like kind of judgy, but like not that bad.
Is this the type of thing where it's like I sold my kid to like?
No, but her mom is like abhorrently awful in the book and just like kind of annoying in the movie. Like there's a big difference.
Interesting.
So Tessa's is definitely more open-minded to Steph in the movie than she is in the books. And her mom is a lot more toned down, like I mentioned. She's way more erratic and bossy in the books, which makes her an easy villain because she's literally the worst person ever. So like she's basically worse than Hardin.
No.
But she's supposed to be worse than Hardin because that's the only way we're going to be okay with her living with Hardin instead of her mom. So they make her the worst person ever so that she like goes to Hardin instead. It's stupid. So then there's the dorm problem. In the movie, the dorm is just kind of strangely big and nice. But in the book, the dorm is described as pretty average, but people just kind of show up into her dorm constantly.
Well, like how many people are we talking? Like 2, 3,
like Hardin, Noah, like Tristan, Nate. People just kind of show up into her room with like as if it doesn't automatically lock like normal dorm doors. They just don't have keys. They just come in.
Wait, they just open the door?
They just open the door and come in. Or like you're in there when she comes there.
Wait, they're in there when she comes in?
Yes! Like there's just people in her dorm when she walks in sometimes.
That's terrifying.
It's so stupid. In the movie, they add keys and people can't come in if there's no keys. But in the book, they just come in. They're just there.
Okay, Daryn, hot take. You're walking into the room. No one else is here. Besides our friend Riley, she locks eyes with you. You say, how did you get here? She says, what do you mean? That's it.
Literally, this is how Hardin and Tessa meet. Because Tessa comes out of the shower, which she apparently, like the communal showers, and she loathes them because being around men is simple.
Ew.
But she just comes in, and Hardin's just kind of sitting in Steph's bed, reading. And she asks him.
Is Steph here?
No, Steph isn't there. He's in there by himself.
Did Steph let him in?
We don't know. It's implied that he in the movie he like shows keys. So basically, it's implied that Steph gave Hardin her keys to the room to get in and sit in there. But Tessa walks in. She's in a towel. She's naked, and she's like, "Hey, can you leave so I can change?" And he refuses to leave.
Creepy.
He's just like, I'm not looking. Don't be so proud. And that's their meet cute. That's how they meet. Is him being a total creep and jerk. And she's just like, I just want to change. And he's being a jerk. And it's basically the same in the book and the movie.
I don't like that. You know,
I don't either.
We're roommates and we don't even look at each other change.
He didn't, in the book, he says he's not going to look. In the movie, he says he's not going to look, and he doesn't. In the book, we later find out that he totally did watch her change.
No.
So then there's parties. So there's 2 parties in the books, but only 1 in the movie, which is a definite improvement because there's just too many parties in the books. So the first party in the book, she's sober and wanders around the party feeling out of place. In the second party, she gets drunk, lets Steph make her up and plays Truth or Dare with the group.
Love Truth or Dare. Pro Truth or Dare.
I think the only reason that they had more than one party in the book is to just please the fan fiction readers of 2 dramatic parties as opposed to 1.
And also to show, like, the first book, she's good. She's not drinking. In the second one, she's been corrupted.
Well, not even this. Like, the second part, this is all in the same book. So, like, the second party is, like, within, like, a couple chapters of each other.
Oh, what?
So, like, she goes to it. So, the first part, she's like, I hate this. I don't like this. And the second part, she's just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get drunk. And it's like, what happened to your character? Where did it go? So, Zed is barely in this movie. This is Zane's character. But he was cut out for the most part. But he's, like, a huge part of the books. He's a romantic rival in the books. He plays an even bigger part in the second book, being the romantic rival. And he seems to kind of be replaced in the movie series with Dylan Sprouse's character in the second movie, Trevor, who in the books just kind of likes Tessa unrequitedly.
Dylan Sprouse, as in, wait, is Cole Sprouse Riverdale or is Dylan Sprouse Riverdale?
Cole Sprouse is Riverdale. Dylan Sprouse is not.
Okay.
So Dylan Sprouse is in After We Collided, which is the second book and second movie. He's in the second movie as Trevor, which is like a romantic rival in the movie. In the book, he's just kind of a guy that likes Tessa.
There are rivals to Hardin.
Yes.
There's other options.
They're not real options, but they're options.
There are options besides Hardin, and she chooses Hardon.
In the book, at the party where they play Truth or Dare, they ask if she's a virgin, and she answers yes. In the movie, she refuses to answer, and they assume yes and judge her. Either way, they judge her, and this becomes a huge part of the plot for no reason, since virginity is a stupid social construct that nobody really cares about in college.
Virginity isn't real.
In the book, she waits until she has another turn to do Dare, never really doing Truth again, and yet gets progressively more drunk as they dare her to do more shots.
But I thought she was sober. Oh, is this the second
This
party?
is the book. This is the book in the second party where they play Truth or Dare. So in the movie, which is the one party where she plays Truth or Dare, she's assertive and not wanting anything she's not comfortable with, since like the one drink she drank, which makes her a more secure character in the movie than she is in the books. In the book, she's kind of just does whatever. In the movie, she seems like has more strength in her character.
Okay, good
so,
vibes.
Yeah.
She knows what she wants.
Hardin is super creepy, especially in the movie, because I think it's because he's literally played by Hero Fiennes, and Hero Fiennes played Kid Voldemort in the 6th Harry Potter movie. He played baby Voldemort. He played Voldemort as an 11-year-old boy.
You're telling me that Voldemort is now a rom-com interest?
I'm telling you that the guy who played Kid Voldemort is now playing the Harry Styles insert in After.
I don't like that. Voldemort ain't sexy.
It's my favorite fun fact ever.
Hashtag Voldemort ain't sexy.
I love that. Okay.
Say that to your friends, listeners.
So at the first party in the book, she wanders into Hardin's room, which he forbids from doing again. In the second party, she's almost sexually assaulted and is saved by Hardin. And I feel like I don't need to explain my feelings about that trope. And then, in a moment of drunken gratitude, Tessa kisses Hardin. In the movie, they cut basically all of that out and just have her wander into his room, and Hardin's pretty chill about it. And he tries to like poetically seduce Tessa in his room, but like it doesn't work. And she walks away. Nothing happens. Like they don't kiss in the movie, which is an improvement in the book where she kisses him without his consent.
Without his consent?
Yes. She is drunk and she kisses him without his permission. But he seems like super into it. Like he pulls her onto his lap and everything. And then she tells him to stop after she remembers she has a boyfriend. She still has a boyfriend. And he doesn't stop. She asks her to stop and he doesn't stop until she tells him more assertively to stop. Then he makes her feel bad for kissing him by saying she forced him to kiss her. And like, dude, that's not what happened. Like she should have asked for some consent. Consent should always be enthusiastic. But he seemed, and it was messed up that she did not ask for consent. But he's acting like he didn't have control over that situation when he literally pulled her onto his lap and didn't stop when she asked him to. So there's problems on both sides here. And it's ew.
I don't like it.
So in the movie, none of that happens. In the book, this is what happens.
Okay, in the movie, there's more consent.
In the movie, they don't even kiss.
Do they kiss ever?
They do, but not here.
Okay.
They are about to kiss, and then they don't, and then she walks out.
Interesting.
So Noah, her boyfriend.
Oh, I forgot the boyfriend had.
Yeah, by the way, she's still dating him. So Noah is played out similarly in the movie as being this sort of benevolent figure who sometimes rats on her to her mom. But in the book, she asks him to stop doing that, and then he does. In the movie, she kind of just ghosts him, and he has like this sort of I'm just doing what I think is best for you.
Hot take.
Which isn't in the books.
If my boyfriend were to rat on me to my mother.
I don't know why they include this, but he like tells her like Tessa's mom stuff.
Like what?
Like just she's going to parties and she's getting drunk and she's like doing things.
No.
Which is so I don't know why he would think
Is he texting the mom? Is he just
They have like a good relationship.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
That's
There's no
weird.
reason other than like he's just that kind of person, I guess.
How long have they been dating for? That
Like
she's best friends.
Like they dated. He's a year younger than her, but they've been dating for a couple years.
Okay, so it's been a couple years. Okay,
so
that
they
makes
started
more
dating
sense.
in high school. He's still in high school. She's in college, and they're still dating.
Okay.
So in the books, there is no moment where he says, "I'm just doing what I think is best for you," and I think that they included that in the movie to make them seem like
a villain.
Noah's oppressing her or something, or making her like not like him, not like herself. And I don't like that, considering he didn't really do anything wrong except care about her and be concerned when she's acting wildly out of character out of nowhere.
No, I disagree with that. You should not be going to someone else's mom,
But,
especially a really bad character, and being like, hey, let me tell you what your daughter's doing.
But it's less like that and more like they just talk, and then she's like, oh, do you know what Tessa's up to? And he's like, oh yeah, she seems like they're going to parties or whatever. He's not doing it out of like any malicious, like I'm telling your mom. It's more like he's trying to just talk to Tessa's mom, and Tessa's mom becomes way more of a villain later on in the books than in the beginning. They all kind of have a good relationship with each other, but Tessa in the books asks him to stop, and he does.
Okay,
that's like he's really not that bad of a guy. Like, don't snitch, and he stops. But he's really just like a decent person.
Okay.
So
why are we not pro Noah?
I am pro Noah, but the books are trying so hard to make you not pro Noah, even though he's done nothing wrong. It's so weird.
Because he's boring.
Yeah.
And younger.
They're like, literally, there's a line that Hardin says where it's like, so you have a boyfriend, why are you with him? She's like, he's nice to me. And then he's like, nice is just another word for boring. And I'm like, really?
Disgusting.
Anyway, so there is this stupid Pride and Prejudice debate in both the book and the movie
that
they have in their literature class.
I hate this.
So
y'all think you're so special.
So the one in the movie is not the same as the debate in the book.
Who reads Pride and Prejudice in
I
the
do.
literature class first semester of college?
I don't know, but they're in this 19th century literature class, and they're studying Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
And so they have this Pride and Prejudice debate because they're trying to parallel their relationship with Darcy's and Elizabeth's.
Not healthy.
No. And it's not the same debate, but there is a debate about Pride and Prejudice. In the movie, the argument is sort of like veiled as something about them. But Hardin is just straight up wrong about Pride and Prejudice. He says, to like get a rise out of her, that Elizabeth threw herself at Darcy.
Incorrect.
And Darcy's terrible attitude is what attracted her to him in the first place.
Incorrect.
In the book, it's definitely more obvious that it's about them, to the point where they're just using Elizabeth and Darcy's names and screaming about their own problems with each other in the middle of a classroom very bluntly.
I do love that type of trope.
I hate that trope.
Oh, I love that trope. I feel like that's a good trope. Hot take.
But at least it like makes sense in the book about what they're talking about. In the movie, it's just nonsense because they're just making things up about the book to have them argue. It's really dumb. In both the book and the movie, the two go to a lake to hang out and attempt to be friends since they just can't stay away from each other. Hardin eventually says, I don't think we could ever just be friends. In the book, it makes sort of sense since they've interacted many times at this point and made out twice. In the movie, it's super weird because they've interacted a grand total of 3 times and they never kissed. So in the movie, they barely have spoken to each other. In the book, they've hung out many times.
So it's like me in the class with just like some random stranger. I decide to go hang out with them at a lake, and then he says to me, "I don't think we could ever just be friends."
Basically, yeah, that's the movie.
Creepy.
In the book, they've hung out many times and had like fights and like they've kissed, and so it makes sense at least, even though it's stupid. So the lake scene in the movie is where their first kiss happens.
Never have a lake scene. Everyone, listen right now.
It was honestly pretty beautifully shot.
You're gonna get murdered at the lake.
In the book, it's their third kiss and Tessa's first sexual experience when Hardin fingers her on the dock.
You're gonna get murdered at the lake.
How romantic. In the movie, they then have this weird dinner scene where Hardin turns cold at the arrival of his friends, and he says that they're not dating, he doesn't date, and she shouldn't break up with Noah on his account. In the book, this happened in a car where they made out until she got a call from her boyfriend prompting the "I'm not your boyfriend and don't want to be" bit from Hardin, which is just so much worse considering she just decides to be with Noah still after she and Hardin have made out multiple times at this point, dragging on her relationship with Noah cruelly when she should have just ended things the first time.
Just communication. Like
right?
Any communication, you would have been out of the situation.
Noah then visits Tessa.
No.
In the book, it was an organized thing, which makes sense, which like makes what actually doesn't make sense. It makes what's about to happen literally so awful and bad, since in the book she planned for him to arrive, begged him to, in fact, and rubbed it in Hardin's face on purpose to make him mad.
So she's like, my boyfriend's coming Saturday. He's coming Saturday. He will be here on Saturday.
Basically, she's saying, oh my God, I love my boyfriend Noah. He's coming on Saturday. He's so sweet and nice and way better than you.
Okay.
So in the movie, he kind of just appears. He appears and like he just shows up and it's like, hey, I'm here at your college. I figured we could hang out. So
because it's not like we're doing anything at college.
Which makes what's about to happen a little less terrible, but still bad. Tessa gets called by Landon, which is one of her friends, and also Landon, Hardin's stepbrother or future stepbrother, because Landon's mom is dating Hardin's dad. And Landon calls Tessa because Hardin is breaking a bunch of stuff at Landon's house.
Like physically breaking things?
Yeah, he's been like trashing this house.
Why?
And you're about to find out. Landon thinks Tessa can make Hardin stop. That's why he calls her.
No. She's a stranger.
In the book, there isn't much that leads up to Tessa being called by Landon other than Hardin walking in, like I said, no keys, no locks, Hardin walking into her dorm and seeing her with Noah, and thus making him kind of pissed off.
How does Noah feel about the fact that he just walks in?
He's very much just like, who's this?
I would feel unsafe.
In the movie, there's nothing that leads up to her being called by Landon other than, and this happens in both the book and the movie, Hardin is also upset about the marriage between his dad and Landon's mom, which is why he trashes the place.
Oh, of course.
So they've had numerous interactions at this point in the book, her and Hardin, so when Tessa goes over to his house, it kind of makes sense. But in the movie, they've barely interacted, which makes it super weird that Landon called her at all. Like, why wouldn't he just call Steph, who's like actually Hardin's friend? Like, she seems nice. She seems to know who Hardin very well, and for years. Why? Like, literally anyone else but Tessa. Why Tessa?
Because Tessa's the main character. Tessa is us. And you have to remember one more thing. Tessa's innocent. She's pure. She could change Hardin. Steph is punk. But Tessa? Ooh.
So Tessa in the movie says, I thought you didn't drink, because she catches Hardin drinking alcohol. And so he's drunk and he's trashed the place. Hardin then replies, I don't.
Lying.
Hardin in the book has an implied addiction to alcohol. In the movie, this is the first and only time he gets drunk. In the book, this happens over and over and over again. And every time he gets drunk, he's a total jerk to Tessa. He curses at her. He gaslights her. He verbally abuses her. He manipulates her into being with him when she's upset. Like, he has nightmares because of his tragic backstory, which I'll get into in a minute. And he can't sleep peacefully unless Tessa's with him. And so when she's upset with him or mad at him, he'll show up drunk. and then manipulate her and saying, oh, you know I can't sleep without you. You have to stay. You don't want me to have nightmares, right?
Just have a body pillow, bro. Like, get a warm blanket, get a body
Get a
pillow.
weighted blanket, man.
Because this is like the same kind of thing of like, I'm only doing this because I'm with you. Like, I'm only coming to this college because of you. I'm only staying here because of you. Like you are my life, and you are
It's so
everything.
stupid.
If you leave me, I'll be dead.
I really hate when like relationships in books and in real life, like when you center your life around another person as opposed to centering your life around your own desires and goals.
Right.
Which is basically this entire series, is they just center their lives around each other needlessly and toxically.
It's cool if you want to sleep with your girlfriend, go off, enjoy yourself. But it's not cool if you say, I literally need you. And if you are not there, I cannot go on.
Basically is what happens. So in the movie, they kind of communicate at this point, while she's at his house, and come to some kind of understanding, which is a concept that the book does not have. In the book, he says he wants to be good for her, which no, but he also doesn't want to date because, quote, why there gotta be a label though?
That's not a quote. That's not a quote.
It's not a quote, but he does say, why do I have to put a label on it? Labels are so constricting. He basically says that. And it becomes something that they fight about over and over again for like way too long. So like in the movie, they're like basically together. In the book, they're still arguing about having a back and forth about whether or not they even want to get together.
Like months later? While she's still with Noah?
Yeah. So at this point, I need to point out the stark differences in sexuality in the books and the movies. In the movie, they have oral sex at his house, which is implied but not shown, which doesn't match up with the fact that the book displays their very awkward and graphic sex scenes. Like, you can tell Anna Todd was really trying to make sex seem like an alien experience to Tessa because, you know, she's a virgin and that defines her personality, but it just becomes off as incredibly bizarre and incredibly hilarious. For instance, later on in the book, she gives Hardin a blowjob for the first time, and oh my God, is it the worst thing I've ever read? She literally pokes his penis. Like, quote, like it's a science project.
She booped the pee-pee.
Yes. And she does actually say, I know I'm poking him like a science project, but this is so weird to me. And like, oh my God.
And Hardin's into this?
He's amused. He finds it incredibly endearing, and apparently she gives like the best head of all time.
There's no way.
There's so much. Okay, TLDR of the whole scene. Hardin is way nicer to Tessa in the movie, and that's saying something considering in the book they had multiple screaming matches with each other in the scene, and in the middle of one, Hardin forces Tessa to kiss him and manipulates her into doing it after she gets him to stop.
Doing it?
Like kissing him.
Oh.
Then they go upstairs and have some oral sex. So this is like incredibly like tumultuous in the book. This whole scene when she goes to his house, he's breaking stuff. They have an argument. Then they like kiss forcefully and then have sex. And then in the movie, she just shows up. They talk and then they have some PG-13 oral sex.
Do they kiss? Have they kissed yet?
They have kissed, and they did kiss.
Okay.
They kissed at the lake. Remember?
Oh yes, the lake.
So. Yes, Tessa stays the night at Hardin's and leaves Noah alone in her dorm all night.
No.
In the book, Hardin forces Tessa to tell Noah where she's been and the fact that she cheated on him, and he leaves, but they don't break up. Like, he leaves, but they don't break up. He takes her back. In the movie, Noah puts the pieces together himself, and this is the end of their relationship. In the book, it drags out, and he promises to stay with her if she never sees Hardin again. Reasonable thing to ask.
Honestly, you know? I would say I would just break up. Just break up.
Right? Point. Smart thing. But so he says he'll stay with her if she never sees Hardin again, and she promises that she won't see Hardin again, but doesn't keep up with it and cheats on Noah multiple times after that. This leads to Hardin showing up at her dorm when she's with Noah and confessing his love to her or whatever. And she literally dumps Noah and kicks him out and gets with Hardin literally immediately.
On the spot?
On the spot.
Where does he go? He doesn't live there.
She just like literally the scene, this is how it happens in the books. In the scene, she's with Noah. Hardin bursts in because locks don't exist in this world. And he comes in.
We're anti-lockist.
She comes in and he's like, I'm in love with you. I can't get you out of my head, blah, 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 blah. She's looking at Hardin and she says, I think you should go. And Noah's like, frickin', thank God. And then she's like, no, Noah, and looks at him. I think you should go. I was talking to you.
What?
And then that's like the coldest way you could possibly dump someone. And he kind of just is like, are you serious? And then like leaves awkwardly. And then her and Hardin make out and immediately get together.
How does he get home?
He drives. He's like 17.
Okay, so he's not like super far from where like he lives.
She like they live in Washington and she goes to
Okay.
Washington State. So he's like an hour out of the way.
That still sucks though. You
I
know
know.
that he's driving all the way home that 1 hour and he's like, oh my God, what just happened? My girlfriend just broke up with me without even looking at me.
But
Like,
at least in the movie, Noah has the sense to dump her, and Tessa has the grace to be upset and not be with Hardin for a while, like, and mourns her relationship with Noah. That's what happens in the movie. This does not happen in the book. She like doesn't even miss him when he's gone. In the movie,
because he's just nice.
in the movie, Tessa and Hardin eventually come together after she's done mourning Noah and hers relationship. And there's this cute little montage
R.I.P.
that
Noah.
happens. There's this cute little montage with her and Hardin that happens at the library and other places. Like they have a picnic, they hang out, whatever. This montage glosses over the litany of arguments that they have in the books, like over being official, over Hardin making out with Molly, over her going on a
Who's
date.
Molly?
This random girl that is in Hardin's friend group that Tessa is obnoxiously jealous of and hates for really no reason, other than that Molly has slept with Hardin before and is still interested in Hardin.
Why is it that I want to hear more about Molly than
Molly
I do about
is
any other
villainized
character?
so hard in the books, and like she is like hardcore SLUT shamed, and it's really like misogynistic and gross. But
I don't know
anyway.
why I identify with Molly right now.
So the montage glosses over arguments that they have about becoming official, Hardin making out with Molly, over Tessa going on a date with Zed, over saying I love you and how to say it and when to say it and the whole shebang.
How to say it? You say I love you. When to say it?
Literally, he's
To
like,
each other.
She's like, she says I love you too after he says I love you. And he says, don't say I love you too. It sounds like you're just agreeing with me. Say I love you back. So she says, so when he says I love you, he wants her to say I love you, and that's it.
No, I love you too.
No, because he thinks
As
that's
well.
not good enough. He doesn't think that's good enough. It's so stupid.
I
So-
hate Hardin. Hard on. Sorry.
Hardin is awful. So they're kind of just together now in the movie, while like in the book, they weren't official until like near the end of the book. Like they get together literally a week or two before they move in together. And yeah, they move in together. And they argue about the officialness of the relationship after they've moved in together. Like in the movie, I just appreciate them coming to the chase and just getting them together. So
They cut out some of the bad parts.
yeah. So then Tessa and her mom get into a fight when her mom realizes that she's dating Hardin.
And not Noah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
that's
leads-
reasonable. She's confused.
She's angry because she doesn't like Hardin.
Oh, she doesn't like Hardin. Okay. Well, she's still like confused. Why did you break up your boyfriend with your boyfriend? Why are you cheating on him? Why did you go to a different boyfriend immediately? That all makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
This leads to Tessa's mom cutting Tessa's housing off, leaving her essentially homeless.
What?
Yeah.
Because she has a boyfriend?
Yes.
That's not Noah?
Yes.
No wonder.
Tessa then goes to live with Hardin as a result. This is like super toned down in the movie. There's like no intensity to this argument, and Hardin is not present. In the book, there's two arguments. This one and another one when after she's already moved in with Hardin. And Hardin isn't just there for both of them, but Tessa's mom literally calls him a freak and a devil worshiper to his face.
Okay, I am pro Hardin again. I want to be called a devil worshiper. I want someone to lock eyes with me and say, hey, Elliot, you devil worshiper.
See, this is why Tessa's mom is like so awful in the books, because she's just like incredibly like controlling and manipulative of Tessa, and so is Hardin. But she like cuts Tessa off from housing if she doesn't do what she wants. So it's like it's basically just like pick one of two evils.
The lesser.
Yeah, in the movie, her and Hardin move in together into the empty place of his father's friend because she's like out of the country. And it's cute and she's super into it. In the book, they fight about this apartment over and over again. And Hardin literally almost beats up the real estate guy because he doesn't think that Tessa likes the place.
Wait, he beats up the real estate guy?
He almost does.
Because they don't like it? Just go to another place.
Because he thinks that Tessa doesn't like this apartment, even though she does. So he almost beats up the real estate guy. Like, I knew she wouldn't like it. And then she's like, no, I like it. He's like, oh, okay.
But why is he beating him up?
Because he's just has this uncontrollable rage. It's also, the apartment is not a friend of his father's. Hardin is just able to pay for a very large, expensive apartment.
Because he's Harry Styles.
Because he has this mysterious job where he gets paid loads of money to read manuscripts and critique them for a publishing company, and thus is able to pay for the apartment.
How do I get that job?
Tell me, Elliot, you're in publishing.
I am in publishing.
You want to be an editor.
Yes.
That's essentially what he does. He's a manuscript reader. So
is he a copy editor? Is he a proofreader? What is he?
He is a manuscript reader and critiques them to see if they're worthy of being published.
Okay.
So he gets paid apparently an arm and a leg for this. How much would you get paid for this, Elliot?
No. How old is he? 19?
He's like 19 or 20.
Okay, so number one, he's making no more than $20,000 a year. At most.
And he's able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment with a large living room and kitchen interior with like really good furniture and like a large bathroom.
And he's in Washington?
Yes.
What publishing houses are in Washington?
I don't know.
And then also, why give a 19-year-old who has no experience manuscripts to decide whether or not to get them published? It's not going to be the editor. It's not going to be like an actual person who's been working in it for years. He should be starting off at the bottom. He should be literally an intern. You can't do that at 19 years old.
There's no sense. There's none.
I want you guys to know that very, very good publishers in New York City, where all of the publishing houses are paid $50,000 a year. There's no way. And like, this is like 40-year-olds. There's no way that this 19-year-old kid is getting paid an arm and a leg for reading a script.
I knew you'd feel passionate about
Oh my God, I'm angry. I'm physically angry. Why are we not just talking about the publishing for this entire time?
There is a lot of publishing content in these books.
She published this. She must have known how publishing works.
She wrote this when she was just writing fan fiction.
Right, but she could have given them a different job.
She didn't, because they don't care. So there's another cute montage that's used in the movie after they move in together to cover up the litany of arguments that take place in the book.
Is it a small publishing house? Is it a big publishing house? Because there's no way he's getting paid.
But he's getting paid a lot of money. So anyway, these arguments, they have arguments over Noah calling Tessa, a random guy almost kissing Tessa at a party, over Hardin's relationship with his father, and Tessa eventually convinces Hardin to go to his dad's wedding, which he didn't really want to go to. In the book, the fight to get Hardin to this wedding is unbelievable, and they kind of just cut to the chase in the movie, which is a breath of freaking fresh air.
I'm stuck on the publishing stuff.
Kindly get over it. We'll get to more publishing content later, but just hold on for a minute.
We only have 10 minutes left.
I know. I need to get through this, okay? So Tessa already knows what happens between Hardin and his dad before the wedding. He implies what happens to his mom, but in the book, he straight up says that his mom was sexually assaulted by multiple guys because his dad basically taunted them at a bar. They found out where Hardin's dad lived, which was with Hardin and Hardin's mom, and these guys found Hardin's mom and sexually assaulted her in front of Hardin.
How old was he?
He was like 8.
Oh my God.
Yes, which is awful, and
that's horrific.
It's awful that he had a dad that was like an alcoholic and really like abusive and awful, and also was able to make guys like, he apparently had like a really bad reputation, and like these guys, these people that he was hanging out with, went back to his house to like sexually assault his mother. So it's awful that he witnessed something so awful. But that doesn't. But they act like this excuses Hardin's abusive and straight up like heinous behavior towards Tessa and everyone around him. And I'm sorry, but it's not. It's not an excuse.
It's a reason, but it's not an excuse.
It's a reason as to why he's so screwed up, but it's not like an excuse to behave like terribly.
It's like when you hear about like a murder and they're like, yeah, they had a really bad life, but like a lot of people had really bad lives and they didn't go murdering people.
Yeah, like you made the conscious decision to be a terrible person on your own. You don't like you are like the way he treats Tessa in this book is so bad, and you don't get to blame like you witnessing your mother's sexual assault by multiple guys to be the reason that you are an awful person, especially since it happened to her. Like, yes, he witnessed that. He should never have had to witness that.
That's horrific right there.
It's so awful. And I almost can't believe that they included this, not even as a reason to characterize his mother, but a reason to characterize Hardin and to be like, this is the reason Hardin screwed up. Not the reason that his mother is traumatized forever.
Do we meet the mother?
We do. And she's a very kind woman, but she also has a villainous moment later on in the book series, but I'm not going to get into that right now. It's also like this reveal is also meant as a you're fixing me moment to Tessa, which is, there's a lot of moments like that in the books, like where it's like, you're not like other girls. I tried everything. I tried therapy, but nothing helped until I met you.
Ew.
It's so awful. So then they have sex at the wedding.
They have sex at the wedding?
Yes. So this is not their first time having sex in the book, but this is their first time having sex in the movie. In the book, their first time.
Are they in public?
No, it's not like on the floor. It's like they go in, it's at Hardin's dad's house. So they go into Hardin's room and have sex. So their first time in the books is actually just in her dorm room on some random day. And it's not at all romantic.
Cool.
So
it doesn't have to be.
This random character named Jace, who really isn't that important, and Molly set up Tessa and basically like make sure that Tessa is present and Hardin's present at the same time to tell Tessa about, quote, the dare, which is what happens in the book.
What dare?
So in the book, there is no dare. In the movie, it's a dare. In the movie, he is dared at the truth or dare session at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Leaves,
wait, he being Hardin?
Yes. He is dared to make Tessa fall in love with him.
Oh.
That's the dare. In the book, it's not a dare. In the book, at this party, it's a bet between him and Zed as to who can take her virginity first.
It's like that How to like Not Fall in Love in 10 Days movie with like Matthew McConaughey and what's his face?
Sure, I don't know anything about that movie.
It's a good movie. Everyone watch it.
He proves that he took her virginity to his friends by providing the used condom and bloody sheets from when he took her virginity, and then details all of his sexual experiences to them so that everyone knew.
Oh my God.
I know. Hardin is then forced to tell Tessa this in front of a full restaurant in the book.
Like he's like, they're standing up in front of like a restaurant?
Yeah, like there's having this screaming match in the middle of a public space. In the book, in the movie, they kind of just show her a video on Molly's phone of the dare.
Oh.
Not of them having sex.
I was so worried.
No, that's in a different book.
What?
I'll get to that in a minute. But then I can get to that at some point. But basically in another book, we find out that Hardin has done similar things to this before. And in those instances, one of them, he recorded him having sex with one girl and didn't tell her that he was doing that. And then sent it to his friend who then distributed it to a bunch of people.
No.
And then it ruined her life, and then he didn't help her when she asked him to help her.
That's revenge porn.
Yes, it is. It's
porn.
Literally revenge porn. He helped create and distribute revenge porn.
Oh my
which we find out in the second book.
And we're supposed to like him?
Yeah. I don't know why, but we're supposed to like him. But like in the movie, instead of him telling her that he had to have had a bet or not, in the movie it's a dare to make her fall in love with him, and then he'll just turn off his emotions and then stop, break up with her and break her heart. And they prove this by showing a video of him agreeing to the dare. So they spare her public humiliation in the movie.
Okay.
So the book ends at this point where she gets a ride from Zed, and he explains the entire bet to her. Well, in the movie, we see her. The movie kind of just goes on after this, where she tries to make amends with the people in her life that she gave up for Hardin, including Noah and her mom. Which is all of that happens in the second book, but they include it in the first movie. She also applies to internships to Vance Publishing House, which is a family friend of Hardin's dad. And also she reads an essay weirdly handed to her by her professor that was written by Hardin explaining how much he loves her.
Oh.
And that's the end of the movie. Also, what professor would do that?
Also, what assignment was that?
I don't know.
like I'm just imagining like a discussion post and like and he's like he went on and then they're like, "Hi Hardin, thank you so much. I agree with this part. Like, I see where you're coming from, but I am confused. What does this have to do with World War II?" Like,
so, conclusion. The book is bad because it has unhealthy depiction of love and relationships with incredibly irritating characters, frustrating series of events. The movie is bad because it's boring, incredibly cliche, and has a terrible script. The book is better than the movie because it's more exciting and entertaining to read due to the sheer amount of dramatic nonsense going on. But the movie is better than the book because it shows healthier dynamics in relationships and is relatively harmless due to its toning down of problematic content. But they're both awful, and I don't recommend either of them.
but you have to choose one now. Go.
Movie.
Okay.
The first movie, anyway. I haven't seen the second movie yet, but
Okay,
I have
coward.
read the second book, and the second book, After We Collided, is the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life. It made me so deeply uncomfortable and genuinely upset with the amount of abusive content that's in there that I genuinely had to take breaks from the book to like be okay.
Oh my god.
It's so bad. And I haven't seen the movie yet. I want to, just to see how bad it is.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yes. So I will be watching it
over the summer
at some point, and maybe I'll report back to you on. I'll detail it to you After We Collided versus the book and the movie. So maybe that'll be next semester.
Yay.
So what is your thoughts, quickly, on the movie versus the book, or just After in general?
I'm stuck on the publisher. I'm sorry. He's 19. He's 19. He should not be getting paid this much. Does he even have an internship?
We don't know anything about his job. We just know that he reads manuscripts at this mysterious publishing house.
Manuscripts? Why manuscripts?
I don't know. He just does.
They don't even come in manuscripts. It's not like
like he reads like the drafts of people's stuff, and then basically like.
And he's the one.
He decides this is awful. Like, I think that she thought of it like script readers in Hollywood, because when you hire script readers in Hollywood, they kind of just read a script, determine if it's good or bad based on like formatting, content, what happens in the first 10 minutes, etc. And if it's bad, they just throw it away and they don't give it to any producers. Maybe that's what she was thinking about.
But that's not what happens. That's not a.
No, it's super, super dumb and not accurate. But yeah, that's what I've got. I love it. I'm obsessed with this series because it's such a train wreck. Okay, so.
Oh my god, I hated that. I think that's all we've got for today. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show.
Tune in next week to discover if
we'll ever become experts on anything.
Make sure to follow us on social media, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Technically Not Experts. Follow us on Instagram at Technically Not Experts, and our individual Instagrams at Elliot Kelliot and at Daryn-ish. Our YouTube channel will have all of our old episodes, and we will be doing our last episode, I think, next Monday at 4 p.m. of this season. So make sure to tune in for that.
4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.